Coming in, flex. I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again, State your name. Big been dope on flame, I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again, I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away, cause I got big racks coming. I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the fit lab on it until they whip my coffin. Money clip, I tossed it, I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags coming, coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again. Pump up the action, I'm active. If he never heard of Ben Dope, he just napping. Jackson's off the rapping. Keep it on my body, bitch, I'm broke if you ask it. Don't gotta sell it, most of y'all is flawless. Broken whips as long as it is foreign. Heard you want it cause the yam's enormous. What's in since she isn't gorgeous? Live my life, last name of Morgan Freeman. Trying to touch a forest, do not know when knocking on the door is. Came in, I came in, I came in. Did it like the Porsches coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again. Okay, alright. Coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10, 10, 10, coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again, State your name. Big been dope on flame, I just switched the lanes. Damn, he did it again, I just flipped the pain. Stripping and dipping in bass, slab on everything. Swimming, you sinking away, cause I got big racks coming. I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the fit lab on it until they whip my coffin. Money clip, I tossed it, I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags coming, coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again. Pump up the action, I'm active. If he never heard of Ben Dope, he just napping. Jackson's off the rapping. Keep it on my body, bitch, I'm broke if you ask it. Don't gotta sell it, most of y'all is flawless. Broken whips as long as it is foreign. Heard you want it cause the yam's enormous. What's in since she isn't gorgeous? Live my life, last name of Morgan Freeman. Trying to touch a forest, do not know when knocking on the door is. Came in, I came in, I came in. Did it like the Porsches coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10 again. Okay, alright. Coming in, flex, I just wanna win, LABB, who we running with, 2, 2, 3, 3, I'm on 10, 10, 10,
What's good?
Yo, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Oh, man, man. Feeling a little blessed, man. That's it, man.
You been closing them deals, huh?
Yeah, man, we did all right, man. This week for me personally, it was probably about a 6-figure week for me, man. So, that's always a blessing. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Byron. What's going on? Did you mute yourself? Uh-oh, I think you muted yourself. You got yourself muted, Byron. But yeah, so it was a decent week, man. So I had a good time this week, man, and looking forward to doing some more deals. Oh man,
technical difficulty.
Byron is in the Matrix. It's okay.
He gonna jump on and come back.
That'll work.
So yeah,
that'll work.
Man, we've been having a great week as well. Oh, Byron going too.
Nah. I'm good.
We got a few rentals under contract. We got 18 rentals under contract right now that we buying. We got one appraisal back today. It's we buying it at 65,000. Appraisal is 130. So that's a good one. We paid for another appraisal today. We got to do a walkthrough on 15 on Friday. So it's going good, man.
Man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Yeah, I heard
the good news.
Yeah, you did. And your mic back.
Yeah. No, for some reason I had muted myself on the intro, and then next you know my other joint was just out of there.
It happens, man. It happens, man. So what we got going on today, man? I think we got something special for the people today, man.
Got the King of Atlanta in the building.
Hey, listen. When I tell you guys, I'm super proud to have my big brother on here. First of all, you know, intros. Let's talk about who we got on here. Now, again, if you listening, I want y'all to understand. Not only is he heavy, super heavy in it, but been in this game for I forgot the amount of years. I'm gonna be honest with you. You talking
like 20, about 24, 23, something like
20,
that.
Man, 20 plus years. You talking about from commercial to single family, then touched almost every form of real estate, have educated probably over thousands and thousands of people, right? The owner of University of Wealth Building. We talking about Flipology 101, consistently giving value to the people, man. The one and only, my OG, Ramon Tooks, man. Give it up for Ramon.
Hey, what's good? What's good?
What's up,
How
y'all?
you feeling,
Thank
King?
Thank y'all, man. That's a heck of an introduction, man. I'm gonna get over here.
He was a little sharp though. I'm sure he missing a whole bunch of stuff.
Absolutely. You know, Byron like the king of intro.
I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. You deserve it, man. You deserve everything.
Absolutely, man.
How you doing this afternoon?
Man, I'm doing great. You know, just man, listening to y'all being inspired already. 6 figures, 18. I mean, woo!
Yeah.
I love it, man. That's you know, I always tell people, man, I get so excited when I especially I see folks that look like me doing great. And not only does it motivate me, but it knows all the sacrifices that we make. You know, hopefully, you know, it's for something good. You know what I mean? Just think about that. 18 deals, 16 deals, 6 figures in 1 week. You know, most people wouldn't dream of that, man. So it's definitely, man. I appreciate y'all tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Appreciate you. You know what's good about this? Byron don't know Ramon too well, so you're gonna get to know Mr. Ramon today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
And I follow Byron. I watch Byron out there, you know, out there making all that money without us.
Man, I want to get started from the beginning, man, from the people that don't know who is Ramon, because I know your story, but, you know, the people might not know your story. Like, start from the beginning around, you know, 15, 16, because I know you got into real estate around 19.
Yeah.
So let's hear it, man. Let's hear it.
You know what, man? Born and raised right here in Atlanta. And, you know, a family full of entrepreneurs, good and bad, you know what I mean? Always good. But we saw all sides of the track. And at an early age, man, I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur because I didn't see anybody with a job. So, you know, unfortunately, my first job I thought I was going to have was something that I probably shouldn't have been doing. But, you know, my grandmother and my father, you know, kind of beat that out of me. So, you know, my father encouraged us to be entrepreneurs. I had lawnmower services, car washes, all before 17, 18. And then at 18, man, my first year of college, you know, my dad was like, just jump into real estate. You know, he had already owned some real estate. My grandfather had done some roofing. So I've seen it all my life. My next door neighbor was buying houses in town Atlanta for $1 at that time. They had what they called a dollar house program, and he would pay us to fix stuff up. So I had that bug. And then at 18, my dad was like, you going to get into real estate. And from there, man, that's how the story goes. So it's actually year 27 now. So
God damn, way up.
yeah. So I've seen a little bit of everything, man. I started off bird dogging, which is, you know, a less complicated version of wholesaling because we had no control. You know, we just kind of turned the deal over to everybody and then get a $500 to $1,000 fee. And so then from there, you know, some buying holes, fixing and flipping wasn't sexy. We didn't really understand it. As kids, we knew about being landlords. And so I started off, you know, bird dogging and went to wholesaling, and then just everything else kind of fell in place.
Wow.
That's amazing, man. So now that you say, like you said, how you started, you started off with the bird dog, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? Just being introduced to real estate at such a young age, and even having the entrepreneurs in your family. What was? Can you talk about what was one of the mindset shifts for you at that young age to say, all right, look, because a lot of times people may not have a work ethic, but it had to be something inside you that pushed you. So talk about that.
I can say, man, I know people say it, but I had it since a little bitty kid. But again, man, I don't always, and people say I skipped like till I turned 19. So at an early age, man, my mother and father were on the other side of that track. They both, at 5 years old, my both of my parents went to prison for a while. And so my grandfather was an entrepreneur. The person I called my grandfather, he wasn't biologically my grandfather, but was a roofer. He recycled paper and cardboard. We had one of them trucks with the things on the side. We picked out cans. We did. I mean, just I've always I've never seen anybody with a 9 to 5 in my family. Nobody, no
Wow.
one. Like none of the older folks. And so we were always encouraged to go get it by any means necessary. And so I think I was born with it because both of my parents were go getters. They were naturally like just my mom was a pit bull, bro. Like she was something different, and my dad was same thing, man. They actually, and so it was just in us, and so I don't know if it was taught to us, but it was taught to us. They encouraged us. I can remember, as a kid, you like want to be normal. Um, I want to get a job at McDonald's or the grocery store like my friends. And my dad told me, he was like, you'll get a job, you're going to pay bills. But, on the other side of things, if I wanted to buy 10 cars to flip, he'd go buy 10 cars and let me flip them. If I wanted lawnmowers, he'd go buy lawnmowers. If we wanted like anything that we wanted to invest in, he would do it. But if you're talking about go get a job for somebody else, no, not gonna happen. So that was,
Oh,
I think that was part of it. He pushed us. All of my siblings, yeah, most of us are entrepreneurs, just because of that, and because that's all we saw. He never, from business, we had different businesses growing up. So we never was encouraged, even though he encouraged us to go to college, he never encouraged us to go and work for somebody else.
Wow.
that's amazing.
So tell me this. Tell me this.
The ghost.
Nah, I'm here. It flipped up on me. But here's the deal, Ramon. I would love to ask you a question. So tell me this: what was your biggest deal that inspired your inspiration to say, you know what, real estate? This is what I'm doing. I'm full steam ahead. This is my track to success. What can you break down that deal and what was that inspiration piece? Or maybe if it wasn't a deal, maybe it was just something else that inspired you. But what said, you know what, real estate? I'm going full steam ahead in this space.
So you know what? I don't think it was a particular deal. Um, Even when I was started real estate at 19, I wanted to be I wanted to be Johnny Cochran. So I'll tell you, man, as a teenager at 19, everybody, so the next generation of my family was going to federal prison. So my brothers and cousins were going, and I would see them paying, the guy with the ponytail, $50,000 for nothing because they still were getting 15, 20 years. And so my goal was then, my undergrad was in criminal justice. I also have a law degree from Emory Law, and so I still wanted to be a criminal defense attorney. But what happened is between 19 and probably 23, I made so much money in real estate. It was like, I don't know about that, And then I had just seen Johnny Cochran with OJ, so I seen it. I saw these guys making money. I knew what we needed, but man, I fell in love with real estate. So it wasn't anything particular. It was I know I didn't have a limit. I had freedom. I think my second year I did about 112 deals. Probably made about 100 grand because we was getting the most we was getting was $1,000. Like we were bird dogs. We didn't know any better. Again, 19, 20 years old. It's like, I'm gonna do
That's a
this.
lot of money, though.
Oh yeah, it was. You know what? Only it was good money. I had seen that. Like honestly, as a kid, just because the environment that we were in, so it was decent money. But it didn't make me say, you know what? I don't want to be an attorney. So by the time I got done, oh yeah, it was a wrap, man. By 23, it was over. I didn't. Wasn't nothing else. I knew it was nothing else I wanted to do. Not full time.
So you basically use bird dogging for how many years? I know you started at 19, but how many years you strictly focus on just bird dogging?
About a year and a half.
And then what you got into? Fixing, flipping, or buying rentals?
No. Buying, holding. See, again, man, that was 1996, 1997. Really, it wasn't a lot of people talking about fixing and flipping. There wasn't no shows. It was all buying and holding,
Yeah.
especially for us. And then I was in the hood. I was in Atlanta. Atlanta in 96 was the hood. We didn't become what y'all see until after the Olympics. In-town Atlanta was horrible, bro. We had, you got to keep in mind, Atlanta was the first city to have housing projects in any city, including New York, and the first city to get rid of them. We had so many housing projects downtown Atlanta, it would blow your mind. Like we had, man, and when I tell you, when you hear about the stories, it's true. Y'all, it's nowhere that compared to what we had. It was probably 1, 2, 3, 4, probably about 8 within a 10-mile radius.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a
So
lot.
what y'all see now when y'all come here, the Ponce de Leon's, Ponce de Leon was heroin capital. Grant Park, drug addicts. Kirkwood, gangs, drug addicts. East Lake, the projects. Like if you watch the story they called East Lake Little Vietnam. It was because, man, the police wouldn't even go in there. No, they wouldn't go. They like, y'all crazy. You call the police you want to and go in there, and there's 2,000 people down in there. You ain't coming out. So, it was a different Atlanta. Did we know it was that rough? Not really, man, because we
But y'all
grew up in it. So we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, we grew up in it. I mean, we were cool with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so we were doing a lot of buying, holding. My second year, I started buying rentals. My first rental I bought down in a little area called Pittsburgh right now. And then, from there, man, I went multifamily, and stuff was cheap. We just started buying, man, buying, flipping. And then I started getting into the rooming house business. Probably by the time I turned 22, 23, I probably had like 50 rooms. We was getting like $50 to $75 a week. And then probably about 3 or 4 years later, I got up to like 120 rooms. But we got tired of that, man, because we was fighting every Friday. Every Friday and Saturday, we got to fight. So then we started fixing and flipping somewhere around like 99, like 99, 98, 99. Yeah.
Talk about that first deal, man. That first deal you fix and flip. Let me hear it.
That first fix and flip
was it good or bad?
No, you know what? The first fix and flip was good. The first deal was not good. I ain't gonna say it wasn't bad, but I attempted to fix it myself.
Ooh.
And no skills,
Man,
it was horrible. No, I don't do it now and had no business doing it then. But the first fix and flip was great. We did it in the area in Kirkwood. The first two, actually. The second one I moved in. I remember we bought a house around from my grandmother's house for like 65. We ended up selling it for like 210. So, it got real sweet real fast. It did.
Wow, that's crazy. So, Ramon, talk about a time. Because I love, like you say, you gave me a story about how you got into it, your first deal. Talk about that deal, that first deal that punched you in the face. That you was like, oh hell no, what's going on? Talk about that deal.
So, it probably was a couple of them, man. I had bought a 16-unit building over in Vine City, and where y'all see the stadium right now. Remember, we had a baseball stadium up the street, and there was the dome had just got built. The old dome had just got built, and so right in the area what they call Vine City in the Bluff, I bought some apartments, and it was the Bluff, like what y'all hear about in the movies. It was rough, but that deal, the city flooded, and so I didn't have the right insurance. The city promised us they was going to pay us our money back. They ended up paying off the loan, but we didn't get any money. So I lost my down payment. I lost, I lost. It messed with my ego because I didn't understand what to do, and that may have been like 90. That might have been about 99 too. And so it bothered me a little bit, but it didn't punch me. I didn't really get punched until the market crashed. Well, you know what? I'm gonna back up. Now I got punched before that. So 2002, we got served in a federal lawsuit. Wells Fargo sued a bunch of people. We were all going to. I was selling to these guys, but we were all in this lawsuit about like fraud. So it was like, man, what is this? I really didn't understand it because everything was on the HUD statement. So I thought, hey, the attorney approved it, your lenders approved it. Now that punched us in the mouth because anything that you do, man, when you're dealing with like mortgages, even if you're selling to the same people multiple times, I learned early on that if you do a pattern and they do something wrong, you're really a part of it.
Ooh.
And so we ended up settling based upon just not wanting to fight that battle. We didn't have enough money to fight that battle. And it was probably 40 people. It was about a $10 million lawsuit. It was crazy, man. So we got punched in the mouth. I remember walking down Peachtree about to cry because I gave them all my money.
Oh,
Like not wanting anything to go bad. That was probably the first time. And then we recovered quickly because we was wholesaling, we was fixing and flipping. About that time, 2000, I got into the nightclub business. So we had bought some nightclubs, which punched me in the mouth. That punched me in the mouth. But then 98 from 98 to probably 2008. Other than that, was really, really good. When 2008 hit, we got our ass whooped. Excuse me for my language.
Oh, wow.
No, you good.
It's
So-
real shit, real estate,
This-
Ramon.
this real shit, real estate right here.
Yeah.
So tell us about. I want to learn about this. Talk more about that lawsuit situation. What contributed to that? You feel what I'm saying? And why did you just say, you know what, I'm gonna settle out? Because I know a lot of people gonna want to, that could probably kill some people from getting in that.
Here's what happened. We all was using one loan officer. And y'all, I promise y'all, we had two situations. I had never seen the bank give us money. Like, I was selling to these guys, but these guys didn't start the problem. It was another group of guys that was using these same loan officers that got in trouble. And so when they started investigating the files, they said, oh, wow, here go another group of guys. Let me go see about them. Ooh. And when they came over there, it was a lot of stuff happening. And so I think what I would tell people is, what I learned is, man, we need to do everything right. And I'm not going to throw the race card, but I'm going to use it as black folks. We got to do everything twice as right. Because what I was told in the interview, I'm going to call it an interview or interrogation, is if you make $99,740 a year and you put on you make $99,800, you just lied. So you committed fraud. And if they wanted to get you, they can almost get anybody that they want to get. So we have to be super careful and just tell the truth. File our taxes, man. Do everything right. We don't need to skip no steps. We need to do everything right. So I learned, even when it looks so good, y'all, we need to be double careful. It's a lot of stuff that happens now, man, and I watch it, and then maybe I'm a little older, a little bit more paranoid. But I tell folks, man, we can walk in the bank if your credit right, if you filed your taxes, just tell the truth. If you only qualify for $300,000 this year, guess what? Next year we need to make some more money, or I need not write off as much stuff in my taxes. So, biggest thing I learned from that is, man, just be. There's no gray. I don't play any gray areas. Be black and white. If you got to go in gray, just know one day somebody may knock on your door because somebody gonna be mad about something. Ooh. And so it was a big lesson, man, a huge lesson from that.
Ooh, that was some good stuff.
This is even crazier. The legal documents were written by my professor, and I was sitting in his class. So when I got served, I'm sitting in front of his banking class, and I look at him like, that can't be the same dude. Like, he see me every day. like, oh yeah, I wanted to go in class and be like, but thank God we came out of that, man. Again, I learned a ton. I learned about even the people that we're around. Like, you got to be careful because sometimes people not looking to make no mistakes, but people lifestyles will drag you into something. And if I'm gonna be responsible, I'd rather know I'm a part of it.
I got a quick question. So, Ramon, what do you think, since you was able to witness the change in Atlanta, right? What do you think were the main contributing factors that turned Atlanta from what it was when you started in the business to what it is when we go and visit and go see it? What do you think were the big contributing factors to that?
So let me say this, though. You got to remember now, Atlanta has always been great for black people. Always. you can go back 100 years, brother. You know, you got to think. They talk about Tulsa, but y'all got to remember it happened in Atlanta in like 1912. See, it happened in Atlanta before it happened in Oklahoma. Because we had the same thing, banks, Auburn Avenue, all the nightclubs, everything you can think of. Same thing. Atlanta has always been. There's a book, y'all. If y'all read it, it's called Where Peachtree Meets Sweet Auburn, and it talks about how Atlanta right now, because it has the busiest airport, it has it for a reason because of our location. Atlanta was once called Terminix. It was the place where every train met. Same thing with the airplane, just like the airplane. So it's always been a destination place for people and commerce, but also for black people with power. So I think it was already great. Y'all got to think we already in 1995, 1993. You know, we had the black mayors. You know, we've had a black mayor since 1974. But I think something that gave us a catalyst was the Olympics. I think the Olympics gave us that. Oh, the whole world saw how beautiful this city is. Great weather. It's affordable to live here. You got beautiful women. You got beautiful guys, I guess you want to call them. I mean, it's just so many things that contribute. I know y'all. There's so many things that contribute to that. But I think that the Olympics sparked us. I think that when Andrew Young announced that we was getting the Olympics, I think it helped. But then when the Olympics came, everybody, the whole world, New York, China, everybody was like, wow, what a beautiful city with a lot of opportunities. And it was nothing like it. And so once that happened, after 96, man, we ain't looked back.
So
the crash hurt us for a minute because there was so much fraud happening on one side of town, more on one side than the other, maybe. But it's just an amazing place.
Wow. So you would say it was just mostly like investments infusing into the city, or what was that contributing piece?
So I'm gonna say some investments, but then also, if you think about this, even in our roughest days, y'all, we had 4 major league sports teams. We only got 3 now because remember we had a hockey team. We've had 2 hockey teams. Wow. We've had the Flame, and then we had the Thrash. We don't have either one now, but we've always had the Atlanta Braves, the Hawks, and the Falcons. Now we got 4 now because we got a soccer team. So we've always had the entertainment. Late 80s, early 90s, entertainment was already here. We had before, you had all the BET Awards. We had a thing called Jack the Rapper, which means everybody came to Atlanta. That was late 80s, early 90s. We always had the club scene. We always had, things like the Paramart. I don't know, y'all come here. I don't know if any of y'all ever been to the Paramart, but it's like a quarter downtown of one guy owning commercial space where they sell. You can go in there and buy your Rolexes. Like everybody go buy their Rolexes and stuff in there. It's very discounted. That's where it may be 100,000 people over there, man, inside this place buying rugs. They have like rug conventions. So we've always been a very, very good place for business.
Wow.
I want to hear about that 2008, that crash. That's what I want to hear about. Talk to us a little bit about it and how was it?
So 2008, man, I'm gonna tell you, we felt it in 2007. I flexed my muscle. I thought I was anyway. I thought I had enough money to fight, but I didn't. So 2008 for me, man, was probably one of the worst years of my life. And not just because of that, man, but everybody, even my hard money lenders was saying, Ramon, why are you still paying mortgages? Like everybody. And I'm like, man, I'm Ramon, man. I got money. You know what I mean? Like that money ran out so fast because, I had mortgages and payroll probably 80 to 100 grand a month just going out. We had just did a 115 lot subdivision. Just bought like an event center, and when I tell you everything was crashing, then I started going through a divorce. Me and my ex-wife was like at it. It was like the worst, and I can tell y'all, man, I sat outside my office one day, man, and I sat on the porch and I was crying. I was like, man, I don't really know which way. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go in the office. There's too many bills in there. The building across the street I just bought. I bought 6 months early. Put $250,000 down. I'm about to lose it. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I don't know what to do. And everybody was saying, stop paying them payments because I didn't stop paying them till I couldn't pay them. I couldn't pay them. It probably took 7 months. I ran out of money in about 7 months. And then when that happened, it was like, what do I do? And so I had to regroup. I had to take my pick, man. And I know some people don't like to hear this. I had to pick. Man, I'm gonna go home and fight this battle. I'm gonna go out here and fight this battle. Maybe I should have fought it together. I don't know. I'm gonna say not. But we had to get a divorce, and so I was fighting that battle because I had 4 little babies. You know what I mean? And so 4 babies, no money, just a lot was happening, man. It was like a lot of mental crap. You know what? I'm gonna say. I say 2008 was probably my worst year, but 2001 was kind of rough too, because I was in school running a nightclub, new baby, new marriage, and then my mom passed at 45, and that was a rough time. I carried everybody. Like my younger sister was 15. You know, my brother had just came home from prison. It was a lot happening, man. I got through that because I worked. I had so much happening: school, nightclubs, real estate. So I was able to kind of ignore it. But I think when 2008 hit, I was still had some of those mental effects, which is why y'all hear me pushing like men's mental health, because I know a lot of it, man, is in the mind. And when the mind ain't right, bro, we're not gonna make that much money. You can make $1 million, but then you should have made 20. And so fast forward to 2008, it took me, man, 2008 was rough, 9 was rough, 10 was rough. But I started a property preservation business, and so because I was buying from so many banks, I had all the real estate agents were going to send me their property preservation business. So I started doing pretty good with that. Bought some vans. By 2011, we started back wholesaling because all the hedge funds were here then. And then 12, I started back, buying and flipping. So, we learned. I still had some remnants of 2008. You know what I mean? Still had some debt. Still had some stuff happening. But it was 2008 was it, man. It was pretty bad.
So did you lose all your properties, or you held on to some of them?
No, I lost a lot. I ended up selling. So the commercial stuff, I sold. I sold a lot, lost some. I didn't lose as much as I sold.
So you still have any of those properties today, or no?
Yeah, I do.
Ooh, I know that value was through the roof.
Do you have any properties from your first 2 years in real estate still today?
No, I don't. So I'll tell you what I did. When 2001 came, 2001, when I started getting into the entertainment industry, I sold a lot of my rooming houses to do it. And I was told not to do it. I did it anyway. I was a young man. I was young. I was 26 years old. So I wanted to be in the strip club, in the strip clubs, in the club business, wanted to be in the restaurant business. And it wasn't for me, because I'm a person that liked to be in by 9 o'clock. Even when I was young, I didn't like to be out late. And so that nightclub business I thought was a night business, but it's an all day long. You got to watch them stealing. You got to watch them. It's so much stuff, man. It drove me crazy, bro. I literally woke up one day and said, you know what? I called my partners and was like, bro, I'm never coming back. Y'all can have the cash registers, the sofas, the TVs, the fish. We had a beautiful club called Aquarium. Water walls, fish tanks, fish stages, the whole nine. It drained me, man. It put such a toll on me. And I don't regret doing it, because I would have always looked back and said, what if we would have done it? But I regret doing it because
So was it
I
more?
sold a lot of stuff to get into that business.
So Ramon, I want to ask you about this, like pivoting from that, right? Again, I love it you share, the issues, and for one, you never gave up. Like everybody that's on here, I hope y'all listening to the fact that he had to pivot, on everything. And even though like you talk about the mental health, even at the lows, you were still able to come out on top. So I want to talk about that one. What's the best deal in your career that you was like, or the best or the biggest deal that you've been able to pull off so far?
You know what? I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say, if I say biggest, I'm gonna say the easiest biggest.
I like that.
I'm gonna say that. So at some point, this was 2005. It was 2005. I had one of my guys that worked with me had been looking at this strip center near the airport for, I don't know, like 6 months. He kept saying, Ramon, man, just give me some more earnings money. I'm gonna get the rest of it. So we had like maybe 4 units, but it was another parcel too beside it. And so he finally got it. And it was maybe like October of 2005. Yeah, October 2005. And we finally got it. And I think I paid like $70,000 for everything. And literally, y'all, I left closing. I had ordered this banner that said for sale or for lease, because I used to didn't care whether you buy it or lease it from me. And we was out, me and some of my buddies, we pulled up, we were kind of flashy, y'all. I know y'all don't see that now, but we had all kind of stuff. We stand on top of one of them cars, and we were getting ready to hang the banner up, and it was orange and with black letters. And literally, we had nailed in one side, and it was probably 3 feet by 25 feet. So it was huge. It was going across the middle of the building. And these dudes pulled up in this truck, and they were like, y'all want to sell that? And so, we were cocky little young jokers too. So normally I'd be like, yeah, what's your number? And so my buddy was looking at me like, you don't really want to sell that. And I was like, not really, but let's play. Like, we gonna play. That joker threw out a number like, I'll pay y'all. He was like, I'll pay y'all. And I was like, whoa, what? Right? And I didn't even count it. He pulled out his checkbook, because we used to walk around with, the binders. Mm-hmm. He was like, I'll give you $25,000 or whatever it was, earnest money right here, non-refundable. We're gonna close it. It was him and his dad. I remember their company was Mayberry Properties, and that was the easiest, biggest deal. I worked hard for some deals, but we made, it was well over 6 figures, and it was almost like a wholesale deal, almost, because I didn't own it long enough. I mean, I owned it 30 days. 30 days, man. It was. Here's the. I'm gonna tell y'all though. I'm gonna look back though. Here's why y'all hear me pushing and fighting for group economics. They had to have that piece, which is why they paid me, because there was a retention pond for Walmart shopping center that came 8 years later.
Oh,
damn.
They knew Walmart. They developed the Walmart shopping plaza. They leased. So it's a shopping plaza that we were on the backside, and they needed it for the water runoff to come where that building is right now.
Oh my God.
But here's the thing though. I tell people, man, I don't ever get upset by things that I sold, because I sold them for a purpose, which means I sold them to do something, to make some more money, to take care of my family, or do something different. Even with that building, I would have never thought about developing that Walmart. Even if somebody would have said, bro, we're going to develop that Walmart. I was 30 years old. I didn't know that stuff. We knew how to flip properties. We had bought commercial properties, but we didn't have a true understanding of developing that kind of stuff, or the relationships to get a tenant, like a Walmart in there. It took them dudes 8 years to develop that. I couldn't have held on that long. I didn't have the holding power. I didn't know how to have the holding power, which is why I tell people now, and it was a group of them. It was a guy, it was a young dude. He was probably 25, 26. His dad looked like he may have been 50. But then there was a whole bunch of them, because I saw them years later, and the dad was like, thank you, man. You really, you know what I mean? We want to take you out for steaks. And this may have been 10 years later.
Wow.
But they practiced the group economics like everybody else. Like everybody except us.
Yeah.
Wow. So were they black?
Were they that shit on y'all show?
Were they black or white? What was the?
They were white.
Okay.
They were white.
Okay.
Listen, Mayberry Properties.
Look them up.
Yeah, I'm gonna look.
You know what Mayberry is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't.
Yep. Oh, you don't know what Mayberry is?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know what it is.
I forgot you young.
Yeah. So why you think black economics is such a struggle these days? Why talk about that?
It's not just these days, man. It's this is not an excuse, but it's the truth, y'all. We mentally messed up, bro. Right now, today, 2021. We in bad shape, man. And the only way we fix it is we continue to tell the truth about what we are. Social media has us tricked. It's 15 of us that got some money, or 15 of them that got, 15 of them, but we still got so many issues. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that. If a police get behind us and we driving, now we got our suits on, kids in the car, we know we paid our insurance, we know our tag clean. Y'all, we still sweat like hell. We still be like, my God, I hope we still put the cell phone down. We the only people that's got to think like that. We mentally messed up. There's some kind of That's some kind of PTS or it's something.
PTSD.
And if you don't feel it, you're probably not black. I don't know no black people that I know, and all of us got good insurance. We know we got good tags and insurance. We know we ain't done nothing. But when the police get behind you, you feel that same stress. Y'all, that's a ism. That's something else that comes from all the years of abuse that other people have done to us and that we've done to ourselves. It ain't just other people. I ain't gonna just blame other people.
I still walk out of stores and think and make sure I look at the sensor. Make sure the sensor don't go off, and I know I ain't stealing.
Yeah, damn right.
Yeah, but y'all have to understand, we the only people that feel like that.
Wow. Yeah. You said something though. You said something, Ramon, about the mental health piece, man. I would love. Are you an advocate of therapy? Before I even pose this question.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So let me say this. So every Sunday night we pray. We got a men's call. We pray. We get on Sunday night it used to be 11. We moved it back to 10. It's called the Monday Morning Men. I started it 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, and want to take it to another level. Just got to get a little bit more organized with it. But here's some facts why we started it. We were in a wealth building, had a monthly meeting on mental health. And we knew this, but Black men or men in general have more heart attacks or commit suicide between Sunday night and Monday morning. So it's things that the stressors that we go through as men, because we're providers and protectors, but then as Black men, it's an extra hump on that thing. And so I'll tell my story, but we started thinking about it a little bit more. But I started therapy, man, in what is this? Let me see, my daughter is 19. So 2016, because of some things I was going through with the kids and just, I've always, I didn't admit it, but had other issues, challenges because of what I went through as a kid. I mean, I saw more deaths and murder as a kid, man, than people see on movies. And so, we needed it. You know what I mean? I had detachment issues because, again, man, my mom and dad left at 5. You know what I mean? I can tell you everything that happened that day. Like, my God, I can remember. You know what I mean? So I've seen so much stuff. So when I started going to therapy, the first session was like, dang, I see why people go lay their head on the sofa. I felt so good leaving out of there. And I've been going for the past 5 years. I actually just had a session last week. And I encourage people, bro, go just talk about some things. Just like go in there and just, it can be anything, bro. Like 2-3 months ago, I was feeling anxious about walking in my own house. When I walk in the door, I get tired. I was like, what kind of spirit is that? You know what I mean? Not being funny. I ain't had the wrong person in there. Like, I ain't being funny. So I called her. I've set up an appointment, called her, and something simple. She told me, walk outside the house, walk back in. What I see, right? At my front door, we got soccer bags, cleats, shoes, hats, bandit signs, all kind of stuff. She was like, clean that shit up. Like, that's how she talked to me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna clean it up. Then she went into the psychology of how I grew up. What did the houses look like? What did my mama house look like? What did my grandmama house look like? And we had a whole session on that. You see what I'm saying? What would I like? And so, because I don't like that, even though it's there, she was like, just clean it up, bro. And when I did that, when I walk in, it's a whole different feel. Energy. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So something as simple as that to something as major as I was having issues with, my daughter wanting to date at 14, and because we're in 2 separate households, she was in Georgia at 14. You could say, I don't want to live with my dad. So I got served with some paperwork saying I don't want to live with my dad, right? And so when I tell you, bro, I stood outside at the gas station and cried like 30 minutes, like for real. And my brother was like, bro, because they say I'm like a robot because I don't have, I don't get too high, I don't get too low. It's kind of like I'm almost the same all the time. But it hurt me so much, bro. And I was having some feelings that I knew I shouldn't have had. You know what I mean? I wanted to do some things to people that I know, bro, that ain't where you need to be in life. And so I knew I needed it then. And since then, man, like anything once a month, she tells me to she advocates having a self-care plan. And again, self-care plan means mental, but really spiritual, mental, financial last. We can fix that last. Physical, financial lads. The money gonna come, y'all. I mean, we don't have some rough days, but y'all understand if my mind right, the rest of it's easy. My mind right, I can be disciplined enough to go work out. My mind right, I can be disciplined enough to have a conversation. But if I'm depressed, or if I'm in a dark spot, or if I'm angry or anxious, I can't operate right, man. And so I advocated Byron to the fullest, man. Like I'm talking about, bro. Once we get this nonprofit up and running, I want to raise enough capital, man, so that we start with little boys, because little boys become big boys that scarred. And when we scarred, some things we don't understand why the relationships don't work right. Why we having issues at home or on the job, mainly on the job. Mainly at home with our significant others, or why things are happening in the world is because, bro, we got beat up early. That's along with all the other stuff we have to deal with. You know what I mean? Wow. So we need it. I needed it bad after George Floyd. Y'all, I was jogging and kept crying. Because Aubrey had just happened here in Georgia, and then that happened, and it was like, man, like I'm jogging. I'm like, man, what's wrong? But you got to think, me and him was the same age. Like that's, you see what I'm saying? So a lot of us need it now. We don't even know we need it.
Wow. So real quick, I'm definitely finna try to find me a therapist around here, man. Tell me this though, how important do you feel like the connection to mental health and your ability to succeed is? Can you speak to that specific phenomenon? Yeah.
I think it's very important, man, for us to be truly successful. See, some people count my allergies, but some people count success as just money. What I tell folks is, at 26, I was worth about $13 million. At 32, I was negative $2 million. Right. So the money come and go. It don't make me or break me. It don't make me say, oh man, Ramon, you less of a person. For me, and success is something different for everybody. For me, success is that true freedom, being able to enjoy my family and being able to like go and do what I want to do when I want to do it. Go to any city, go to any country, you know what I mean? Whatever it is I want to do. So in order to be able to do that, man, you got to be mentally right, though. Like, I can go travel, but I ain't going to enjoy the water if I'm somewhere else. Or, like, right now, man, I tell people, my daughters laugh, but, like, I'm single. And it's some things that I want to make sure I'm right before my next relationship. And when I say right, it's some things that I know, you know what I mean, that I deal with in therapy that I want to make sure I'm not there. And that comes from some of my stuff in my childhood where I don't trust people. And that's, I don't trust you, so I ain't gonna let you get close to me. So a lot of times, and Byron, y'all know it, man, like I'll be by myself. And I got friends from, man, all over the world, bro. Like and they call, like, Ramon, you want to go here? You want to go to the fight? And I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I go home. You know what I mean? And so that's some of that stuff has to do with some of the things that I deal with, mentally. I can be in any crowd, I can enjoy it, but I always like to kind of duck off to myself. And that's some of that has been an introvert. But some of it also is, some of the feelings I have about people. Like I watch people, so when that BS meter go off, I'm gone. I'm leaving. Like that's why y'all don't have me on Clubhouse, because there's too much BS on there. Like, it is. It's a lot. You know what I mean? And we all have our own issues. I have my own issues, but I know, I do my best, man, to be straight up with everybody, good or bad. If something go bad, we fix it. But yeah, man, that mental part in success, I think is probably 80% of your success.
Wow.
Yeah. If listen, man, I want you to think about this. I can cut your arms and legs off. I can cut darn out most of your organs out. You're gonna be all right. But if I mess your brain up, you done. Ain't no what you gonna do? If your mind not right, ain't nothing you can do.
Facts.
Give me my mind. Give me my mind.
Ramon. So Ramon, talk about I love about it, because you know what I'm saying, just everybody that's listening and everybody gonna see it, they're gonna see, like, man, like you said, 27 years of being in this. Talk about the point when you was like, you know what, I got all this information, but I got to get his back, right? I got to get his back. I got to start teaching people. And I mean, for everybody who may not know Ramon, again, talking about University of Wealth Building, you're talking about flipology. You do so much, and you bring, and I want you to talk about that first, because again, I think, y'all back in the day, they call it a Rolodex. But your list of contacts, man, I think is more heavy than
I know it's
anybody
cool.
out here, man.
Yeah. So so prior to Flipology came out in 2015 because this is the 7th year of us doing Flipology. So prior to that, man, we were just like, I would just tell people, hey man, y'all meet me at Pascal's. Y'all just meet me. We'll go somewhere, and we'll all get together. And we didn't call it a mastermind because again, it's part of stuff that's grown over the past few years. But we would get in a room, people like Byron. You met Charles Williams, right?
Mhm.
So it would be Charles. I got 10 Charles. 10 Charles,
Wow.
right? Where we would sit at a table, and I was probably the youngest one with the least amount of money, and I would be like, listen, y'all, I want to buy everybody lunch. And then from there, we'd go and teach other people. I'd be like, man, just free. So 2014 rolled around, man. This lady named Jay Stone came to me, and she was like, everybody keep talking about you, and I met you, and I want you to brand. And I was like, what the hell is branding? I don't even know what branding is. Like, seriously, I was like, I don't know. I don't want to talk on no stage. You know what I mean? And she just kept pushing. So she was like, let me take over. She had done Coke. She had done NASCAR. She was just like, let me just show you some stuff. And so we sat down. It took a minute for me to, because, you know, I'm still kind of private. And so she was like, just do it one time. And we came up with Flipology. So Flipology, you know, it is what you see today. It's evolved a little bit, but just educating more people. And I still don't have it right, y'all. I still don't. I look at, we just talked about it today. It's some things that they're here, but it's not, I haven't put it out into the world the way I want it to do. University of Wealth Building started 3 years ago. It still is not, it ain't where I want it to be. And I know sometimes I'm more of a perfectionist, but I want to educate folks, man, to a point where it's simple enough for them to go out and do something. So one of my biggest probably problems with the educational business is people don't do nothing with it. So it used to bother me. If y'all know Jill, I would lead the events like, Jill, I hope they do something with this. And it would make me feel some kind of way when you look up and it's 3 out of 100 people that do something. You know what I mean? That bothered me up until probably like last year. And everybody I talked to, like, Ramon, that's normal, but I don't think that's normal because I just had a class and if it was 30 of them, 20 of them did something. Because of how we teach. And have we had a lot of people not do nothing and pay money? Yeah. You know, that's the norm. But that bothers me, which is why, you know, y'all, I'll go to it. I did that tour in 2018. And because I wanted, and I paid for it. We paid, you know, it was free to the whole 27 cities in 24 weeks. Because I want people to understand the resources and be able to go out and do something like tomorrow, bro. Like, even if it means you just file for your LLC $100, or if you go start working on your credit, like that's like a dream of mine, man. I want to make sure everybody we touch, bro, like get something good from it, you know. So that's kind of why we jumped into the education arena, and we're gonna get better. And like they say, it's on me this time.
And
Man,
so
your Flipology was the first event I ever went to, man. Ever.
Was it?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
I went. You know why I went? I went because it was free. My cousin invited me.
I'm glad you came, though.
I need to go.
I'm glad you came, man. I'm glad you came. You know what I mean?
Me too.
We did. So that was early 2018. That was before the tour.
That was April.
That was
April 2018.
April 2018. Yeah, we did. So we did a Flipology, Byron, in Houston.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even there, so I ain't even know.
So that year was a year, man, seriously, going around the country. Then I was supposed to do Miami on the collaboration tour, but I ended up canceling Miami to do Shanghai, China, which was a different level, y'all, which we got to do it. Like, I want to go back, and I want 100 of us to go, man, and just really, really, man, just really have Shanghai, China was man. Yeah, I spoke to a room of 100 Chinese agents, kind of like financial advisors of the farmers, and I had a translator. So, you know, I was sweating. It was crazy, man. But 2018 was a very inspirational year. It was exhausting, but it taught me a lot about like the world and different communities and neighborhoods, and you know how much we're all alike. It taught me a lot about my people, which, you know, I'm very pro-black. I'm not anti anybody else. I think some people get offended by my blackness, but I tell folks, man, my people we're in bad shape, and nobody not gonna fight that battle for us. Nobody not gonna say, you know what, bro, we going to a black-owned restaurant or stay in a black-owned hotel, and we got them, y'all. We got so many black-owned hotels in this country, and nobody looks them up. We don't look them up.
Right.
It's a site called Nabhood, and you can look them up. They got a directory, and so I do my best to stay in one everywhere I go. And so we got to fight that battle because I think we should be equal. I don't think, man, we should be better than the Asians or better than the white people or better than the. I think we should be equal. I think we shouldn't be 100 years behind anybody, and we are. We bad off, y'all. That's a whole nother conversation. We are truly, we own less land. We own less land than we did in 1920 and 1930.
Wow.
Truly, right now. We own less acreage in America, and it's getting worse. It's a fact.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. As good as it looks, we getting worse. We don't. Who buy land?
Nobody.
None of us. No. We don't buy land. Byron heard a good conversation. The couple
with the trees. With the trees.
Yeah, I dropped it. Ramon, I came and dropped that. Well, what Jay had talked about, you know, again, that's what eye opened to me. And when he started talking about, the biggest takeaway was like the title of it was 100-year plan, and I'm like 100 years. And when he said he had the meeting with a group, and they were talking about 300 years out, that shifted my mindset to be like, no, I'm playing too small. I'm playing. I can't. You know, I'm worried about my kids as I'm born. No, I got to think about their grandkids. You know what I'm saying? That made me that mastermind changed my life.
Yeah, wow. I appreciate it, man. There's an article, right quick. I know we got some quick. There's an article. There's a property over in England that has never been up for sale for 400 years. So the same family, for sure, has owned this property for 400 years. Wow. So y'all think about this. That's what is that? 5. That's 20 to 30 generations of owning the same piece of property. So you know what that does, though? That gives you a sense of being. That gives you a sense of who we are. Because I can really say, you know what? My great-great, and there's somewhere going to be some lies, but my great-great-great-uncle or great-great-great-granddaddy slept in that room. And the story that I got from my great-grandmother, because she was still alive in the same house, is this is what happened. So now I feel like this is who we are. Most of us, and I know I'm one, I can't go back 3 generations. I've talked to somebody. I can go back 2. I can go back 2.
Wow.
2 and 2 wasn't even a relationship. So I had 0 relationship with my biological grandparents. So I really can go back 1. I go to my mom and my dad.
So Ramon, tell me this. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Byron.
I was going to ask you. So tell me this. So what would you say for the entrepreneurs who are trying to get into real estate? You know what I mean? What lane would you suggest that they take? How do you suggest that they do that? And what kind of picture you think they should be trying to paint for themselves if they trying to get into this real estate wealth space? You know what I mean?
No, here's what I use this right here. I say it depends. So this thing ain't for everybody. Not the investing piece. I think you need to own your own home for sure. If you are single, I think you own somewhere you can rent out a basement or get a multifamily if possible. Every city like Atlanta don't have a lot of multifamily. So you're not gonna come in and be like, I'm gonna live in a multifamily. We don't have them. But we start talking about the investment spaces. It's only 3, in my opinion. You got buy and hold, fix and flip, or new construction, and wholesaling. There's nothing else. There is no 4th, 5th. Everything else falls under those. Whether it's creative financing, it's still going to be something that you're doing one of those 3. I think people always say, man, wholesaling is the easiest way to get into real estate. And I always say, I don't know. Like, I don't know about that, right? I'm going to always say, this is my opinion. Buying and holding is the easiest way to get into real estate because you get a chance to correct any of your errors over time. When you're thinking about long term, if you're not looking to get rich on one property, but now wholesaling is a great way to get in it. If you're talking about hustling, you start talking about a wholesale business, 99% of them not going to make it. Honestly, fixing and flipping is a whole different dog. Fixing and flipping and new construction, different dogs. That they 3rd tier to me, and I love them, but they 3rd tier. They the ones that will break your back. You know what I mean? They the ones that will. You know, I got a property right now, bro. We've been on 2 years. and I hate it, but I had zero control, zero. I'll take in some blame, but I'm gonna say I really had no control between municipalities and COVID, and it's a lot that went into that. So if I had to tell somebody, I would tell them to sit down with somebody like one of y'all and say, "Hey, y'all, here's my life. I got $2,000 or I got $50,000, and I'm a risk taker. I'm not a risk taker." You really got to analyze. There's no cookie cutter, because listen, before I met Byron, I didn't have a clue. I thought mobile home was the crappiest mess to ever sit on the side of the road. But then when Byron came, 3 years ago, I started looking at them like I knew my aunt stayed in some, and I'm like, dang, theirs didn't look like. I'm looking at some now. They got hardwood floors and granite. I'm like, goodness, man, that's
house on wheels.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's amazing, right? So again, how I would answer that is, man, it depends. I would tell people, don't get into something because somebody else was successful at that, because that may not be your path. Don't jump into wholesaling if you don't have the time or the money. Like, some people think, oh man, I got a little money, so I'm gonna get into wholesaling. No, you might want to give Byron $5,000 to invest, and maybe you make some money off some deals. I I don't know, but and don't get into wholesaling if you ain't ready to hustle. If you ain't ready, like if you ain't got no money and no credit and all the stuff that we sell the wholesaling business on, if you don't have that and no time, don't get into that. Don't get into that. Because like right now, if you brought me $1 million and said, man, I want to buy 2 fix and flips in Atlanta, I couldn't tell you I'll find you one this month or next month.
Wow.
I'll be lying to you. Anybody that say they can, lying. In Atlanta right now, you can call them. Tell them I said it. You're not going to, you can't guarantee that. Not and say I gave you a good deal. Can't guarantee that. So when you're talking about newbies getting into it, I think they start with educating themselves, not over-educating themselves, but they start with, and then also don't mind going to work for somebody. Call Oneil and say, Oneil, man, what you doing? Let me pick you up, bro. Let me drive you around. And maybe you pay for some sessions. If you ain't got it, say, listen, bro, I ain't got no money, but I can, whatever I can do to help, let me come and help. Let me move some chairs. Let me just get in that circle to serve you and learn what you're doing, and then go out and maybe get some addresses to do something. Don't just jump into this business, man, and think, oh man, they doing it, everybody doing it, it's okay on TV, it's sweet. Because when you get your head hit, who you gonna call?
Right.
That's
simple. So I don't think it's no cookie cutter, Byron. I don't think I don't always direct people to wholesaling, because everybody's not going to be successful at it, and it can be, you can go buy all the lists, do all the skip tracing, pay all the VAs you want to. If you don't have the right timing and understand what you're doing, bro, it's all for nothing.
It ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work.
Man, I got one more question before we go, Ramon.
Okay.
Man,
All right.
I feel like, to me, it's my opinion, I feel like Atlanta is the #1 financial literacy state for Black people. How do you feel about Hit 500 with the credit? You for the real estate. They got Manny J for the Airbnb, Toro. They got Alex Good Energy for the truck. And how does it make you feel that Atlanta, to me, is like #1 when it comes to Black financial literacy?
You know what I'm gonna say? Atlanta is great, man. And I tell people, I don't say that just because I was born and raised here. It's truly something special about this city. It's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of people, Oneil, man, that you gotta meet, bro, that you will be like, my God, man, I can't believe like that's happening with these folks, developers, builders. Just amazing, man. So I know it's something special. There's a special thing in this city. It gives you the opportunity. I think people bond a little bit better. Or it looks like we bond a little bit better in this city. And so, I mean, it's a really good thing, man. You know what I mean? I'm excited about it. Again, I don't get out much, but I talk to most of those guys, and we have great conversations. So I think we keep pushing that, because guess what? That should be every city. That should be every single city in this country, because there's little kids that look like us, that if we get to them early enough, that greatness will come out. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of little Ramones, bunch of little Oneils, bunch of little Him 500s, bunch of little, but people, we're not getting to them early enough. So by the time a young boy gets to be, I think they said 8 or 9, they already building prison systems based upon that. So we got to get to them at 5. we got to get to that little boy before he start to get angry and want to fight and don't think he got a chance, because that's when we resort to the pistols and the dope and the whatever else gonna happen. So I think we can do that everywhere. You know what I mean? I think I know y'all go to different cities and do different things as well. I do believe that if we can pick up on those kids, man, and encourage them to do better, but we can have that truly, we call Atlanta Wakanda, but Wakanda is everywhere we can make our people, and anybody though, any color. If I can inspire a little Indian kid, a little Chinese kid, but our people need it the most, y'all. And I'll say it. I say it from anywhere. My job is to inspire, hopefully help as many people, one person in this world, but as many people as possible, so that we can say that same thing about Houston, Lafayette, Chicago, man. I mean, just you name it, man. Which is why, again, we're going on tour. Like the other week, Oneil, I called you and Byron and said, hey, y'all, what y'all think? Like, I'm going to hit it. My team, like, nah, bro, like, we're going to be tired. I said, I got friends in every city. So if I got to jump on the plane by myself, y'all, we got this. You know what I mean? We're going to give away some free stuff to kids. And I'm excited about it, because I know, y'all, if we touch one person in every city, y'all imagine what that does.
Facts.
Yes, sir. Talk to us about that tour before you go.
14 cities, y'all. It's starting at 14. Start July 22nd, and it goes through I think October 13th. 14 cities include Birmingham first up, then Montgomery, then we headed to Milwaukee, then Chicago is the fourth city. We got I know we're doing LA, Detroit, Cleveland, Jackson, Mississippi, New Orleans. And we may end up adding some. I don't know. It just depends, because my schedule has got. I'm actually, because of the tour, I'm gonna cancel the third Flipology this year. It'll be the first year we don't have one in November, because 2018, man, we ran like crazy. So I haven't decided to do Baltimore, Philadelphia, DC, New York yet, but we'll probably end up adding those and a couple more that I really want to go to. But it's just, man, you know what? It's about us bringing people from the city or Houston. So I'm gonna be reaching out. It's about us bringing people in the city, the resources in the city, to the stage, and we do 2 panels with all people from those cities, so that people in those cities understand they got every resource right up the street. You got insurance, you got life insurance, health insurance, wealth insurance. Our first panel, credit. Second panel is all real estate. We may throw some other income stuff on the first panel, but 3-4 hours of that, and you go. You know what I mean? You want a wholesale? Call Byron. You in Houston? Who I'm calling? Why am I calling this dude in Arizona that don't know nothing about Fifth Street? You see what I mean? That makes no sense to me, right? I mean, it's cool to get the education, the basics from it, but when I want the real deal from Houston, if I want the real deal from Chicago, if I want the real deal from New Orleans, I know the call. I know who to call. If I want Lafayette, I know who to call. So we are doing this, man. One, it energizes me. But 2, we got to do more of this. So we're gonna be able to sit in near you real soon.
Hey, real estate gonna be there.
Man, listen.
Not each city we represent.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
Ramon, man, listen, you came and blazed real estate. We thank you so much for even stopping by. We know it's you're on the East Coast, so it's 10 o'clock there. So even coming out to a busy schedule to come, give not only so much game and gems to the people, but just to pour into us and even talk about real estate wealth hacks. That mental health piece that you talked about, 80%. If you
needed that.
That is one of the most important pieces that he talked about. And we always talk about mindset on this podcast, but getting that therapy and just being open and vulnerable with us and sharing your story, sharing your wins, sharing your losses, talking about family, talking about the generational wealth. We talk about, it was so many wealth hacks in that again, this is just regular conversation for Ramon, right? He talked about this. This is normal, but I hope you guys picked up. So we thank you for coming on. Man, make sure y'all following Ramon Tooks. Man, listen, Flipology, I see Brandon said he's coming in New Orleans. Make sure y'all tap in. Listen, we thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It does not hurt. Hit that like button. It's free. We truly appreciate you guys. Until next week, man, listen, see y'all later. Salute.